we've talked on this show a fair bit about AI and how it's going to revolutionise the way we do so many things. But one magazine in Europe has found this out particularly. The Belgian editions of Elle and Marie Claire and a bunch of other popular women's magazines have been using AI to write hundreds of articles that they then published under the names of fake journalists. One of their journalists is Sophie Vermeulen, who's written a whopping 403 articles for Elle Online just this year.
We should hire her.
400 articles in 6 months. Her profile says she's always ready to inspire you with fascinating stories and practical tips. The only problem is her profile, her photo, and all of her 400 articles are completely AI generated. And none of this was disclosed, Holly.
That's the dangerous part. I think if people are open and honest and say, you know, my husband and I went and looked at a house on the weekend and it said in the ad that it was AI generated photos. Yeah, it was pretty significant in the way the photos had been altered. It didn't look anything, real life versus the AI was very, very different. But you've got to be upfront with that this is AI generated. When we look at AI, this is the next industrial revolution. If we're not preparing ourselves for what change is going to come and how it's going to impact in the white-collar jobs more and more. This is where we're going to see the change, where those jobs are going to disappear, and this is a great example of what could happen. I mean, you and I were on something the other day and I had to do a description of myself.
And I quickly went into
ChatGPT and asked to give it 10 words on me, and it was incredible. I mean, look, I'd almost hire myself if I was reading.
Don't you find that profound? I find that profoundly disturbing. Like, firstly, to be honest, I think it's actually almost the middle class's comeuppance, because typically the middle class has been the last people kind of hit by massive industrial change. It's always been the working class who are the ones who have had to be put out of work with the massive climate change, net zero transformation. It's overwhelmingly working class people who are being forced to sacrifice their jobs on the altar of progress or whatever it's called. And now it's our turn. And I think we're seeing how scary it can be.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up the white-collar jobs, because a once iconic Dutch car navigation company, TomTom, is laying off 10% of their workforce, which is 300 jobs, so they can embrace AI. It does raise the question, is this the beginning of mass unemployment in white-collar jobs? The co-founder of Magellan, which is a big global investment firm started here in Australia, has given a grim warning about AI. He thinks we could see the stock market collapse by up to 70% in the next decade as AI disrupts all sorts of businesses and leads to mass unemployment. The mass unemployment will lead to mass poverty, less demand in the economy, and an overall shrinking. And I don't think, Joe, we've really come to terms with what this might mean.
No, that's exactly right. And I think there will be, I think it will have an absolutely devastating effect. We've already seen a phenomenon with, and I know that many people who have been the beneficiaries of it, of basically people with arts degrees creating their own jobs, creating their own industries for them, and that you can see it right across the sort of, you know, not for profit sector, the non-governmental sector, where there are all these organisations that just sort of exist to make us a better world or something like that, but don't actually seem to have any economic output. But again, so I think, strangely enough, those are the kind of organisations that might be kind of exempt from this. And again, that's kind of unfair. So you will have this elite that is exempt. Journalists, again, practical journalists, the journos who go out day in, day out and get yarns. Court journos, I reckon, sports journos could be really, really effective.
Because AI can only bring up what's already been published.
That's right, but you could put a court. You could put a court judgment through.
You could put
a court judgment through a chat bot, and it will write in a conversational, newsworthy way what that court judgment says. It will be able to automatically censor itself for any court orders. It would automatically legal itself.
And one of the key jobs that will be disrupted are those administrative-based roles, like paralegals. I have a friend who did an internship at a big Australian tech startup, and they said they weren't taking on graduates the following year because it was all being automated with AI. These are the smartest data science graduates from top Australian universities, and they can't get jobs in Australian tech companies because AI is literally replacing everything.
It was just so ironic that just a couple of years ago we were pushing kids into STEM. You've got to have to go and get these sort of engineering jobs.
Turns out it was a cliff.
Yeah.
And turns out that's what makes you unemployable.
Can I just ask?